Hi everyone, good morning, how are you doing? Today we have one of the finest teachers beside me, and she is Marta from Poland, and she's one of the IS teacher in Mission College. So, very welcome Marta.
Thank you.
How are you doing
Good.
today? How was your weekend?
Excellent. My daughter's birthday. Easy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's go toward our question. Let's start, as we know that you came from Poland, so let's start from there. Describe a time when you overcame a difficult work situation back in Poland.
Okay, so when I was getting my bachelor's degree, and because I was doing it in teaching, I was required to do a 1-year internship at any school of my choice. So I decided to go and teach in high school. And the subject I was supposed to teach was German. So when I got to the high school, I knew the principal, and he put me in the classroom where I had to teach my own sister. So from the beginning, I knew that it's going to be hard because half of the classmates I knew, and I knew them from them coming to my house, and we were never at the very formal level. So they all treated me as a friend. So to come in Poland when you're in school, you always have great respect to teachers. Even though you know them, you will never really know them that much, or even if you know them on a personal level, you will show respect in the classroom. But because we're talking about high schoolers, they very often don't know how to behave. So the difficult situation for me was to establish an atmosphere where I would clearly tell them, whatever is a home is a home. In here, I'm your teacher. And it took me about, I would say, 3-4 weeks, because they were trying to get, like, if they had a quiz, my sister would try to steal it from me, or they would try to get my questions. So it took me a while, but I think in the end, when I told them, like, whatever happens in the classroom, and I will be more than welcome to help you with whatever you need, they sort of realized that they have to separate the personal relationship and the work one. And it was difficult because I didn't know how to do it. It was my first time.
And I think that was a good experience for you, because after that you came to America, and most of the schools in here behave, teachers and students behave like that.
Exactly. So it was something that when I came here, it was difficult for me, but I'm like, okay, so it's more like everybody is on a partnership relationship. So it was hard, but I did it. I think I just tricked them, and I promised them, not difficult quizzes, and then I will do anything, they.
Okay, after moving to US, were you able to overcome language barrier?
I was, because I was in the US. I was always very talkative. So in Poland, I was a very shy person, and when I came here, I thought it would take me forever to learn the language. But when I saw that Americans are very patient, and they will not laugh at me if I make a mistake, they will be waiting forever for me to ask a question, I think it was fairly fast. And what helped was that the language school that I was in, I was the only person from Poland, so I had no choice. Like, I had to talk. And I think the frequency of using English language, that helped me a lot, and I learned it pretty fast.
So you first came here to study, and when you studied English, were you limited in choosing career by being English your second language?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. So for me, I think what helped me was that in Poland, I got my bachelor's in teaching German. So when I actually studied here, I said I'm going to use the same techniques that I learned back in Poland to learn the language. And then I think because I always wanted to be a teacher, I never thought that I will be limited. I knew I have to improve my pronunciation, I have to learn the language, and I know I might be at a disadvantage, because very often when I go to job interviews, that's the question I'm asked. I said, do you think there is any disadvantage to you being non-native speaker? and teaching the language. So I don't think I was really limited. Maybe if I went to a different career, maybe, but I haven't really.
When you became as a teacher here in America, have you ever been in a difficult situation in your teaching career?
Yes, because I tend to speak too fast. So I remember my first class here. I had a different idea about teaching, and I walked into the classroom and I started speaking very fast, not realizing that students might not understand me. And some students are not as talkative as I am. So it took me, I would say, about half a semester to get up to the speed. And I'm still being reminded that, I have to speak slower because some people just don't get it. And when I get very excited, I tend to speak very fast. So what I worry about, that students sometimes are afraid of asking me to slow down, and then they get a little bit behind. So I constantly remind them, if I speak too fast, I don't know, turn your head or raise your hand if you don't want to say anything. But other than that, I think that's it.
Okay. And let's go to your personal life. And you came from Poland, but your husband is from America. Have you ever been in a problem with misunderstanding each other?
Oh, all the time. Because my husband knows a lot of words. He loves to read. And then because I teach English, I sometimes, so let's say we would talk, right? And then I will say a sentence, and I have in my mind a specific meaning. Well, he understands the sentence with the same word, which has a different meaning, and it sometimes creates arguments. And we will argue and say, "But you said this, but I said that," and then we finally come to the point, said, "Oh, we misunderstood each other." But sometimes it takes about good 10-15 minutes, and then he gets frustrated because he blames me for that. And he says, "Well, you're the learner. You should understand this and this." And I said, "Well, you know that you married somebody whose English is not a first language, so you should understand." So we're going, we're playing both.
So when the things are not going well on that situation, are you in a trouble and problem? Have you any problem controlling your emotion on that situation?
Well, I don't know if I have a problem. I think I approach it, like once I realize it's the language problem that we're having, I approach it as a teacher. Like I will slow down and I will try to explain. But my husband, he's like, you should learn. But I'm not talking to you. So for me, I don't know if I have a problem. I know my husband has difficulties. I mean, it takes a while for him. So he will not talk to me for a while, and then he said, "Okay, you're right." And I said, "Well, I understood it this way, and you understood it that way." So I'm sort of on the role of a teacher, and I think we avoid a lot of the disagreements because I'm able to explain. Because it's like Americans, they know how to speak. They can't explain things. So for my husband, it's very hard sometimes saying, "Oh, but why would you understand this specific sentence this way?" I'm like, "Because there is a preposition which," so if I explain it to him, and he's actually very good at listening and understanding, so it never created very big problems. But yes, we had sometimes unwanted, arguments because